and thus, I want to make the show my entire personality. This anime is called Welcome to Demon School Iruma-Kun, and I'm telling you, the viewer, to watch it. It is genuinely peak fiction, and I love it to pieces. I'm making this video partially because I'm currently hyperfixated on it, and because I don't see as many anime fans talk about this show, compared to other shonens or magic supernatural school type shows. It does seem fairly popular. 3 seasons and an ongoing manga is nothing to scoff at, but I want to bring more attention to this series. I could front-load this by talking about how amazing the writing, characters, and the positive deconstruction of the supernatural school-esque genre it is, but I'll save that to when I get deeper into this analysis. I've got a lot of ground to cover, so let's get started. Also, for a disclaimer, I will be spoiling stuff, but only for the first season, as that's what this video will be covering. I need to in order to really delve into how amazing this show is, but I would strongly advise you checking out the actual show. So for those who want the non-spoiler version, deconstructive in all the best ways, you'll want to hang out with all these characters, great humor, and a brilliant use of Chekhov's gun. Alright, let's dig in. So, for a bit of a backstory, I watched this show a few months back with some friends in a Discord VC for one of their birthdays. I didn't think much of it going in. I had vaguely heard of it beforehand, mostly from when I'm checking up on seasonal animes on my anime list, but I never really thought to look into it. We watched the first 3 episodes, and I'm immediately intrigued by the first one, and how the protagonist feels so different to other similar type of protagonists, but we'll get into that later. So I stay there and watch more. Then by episode 3, when this happens...
I'm Clara! My right foot's Connor, my left foot's Murph! I have a familiar that's named Bobo!
I'm immediately hooked. I ended up binging all 3 seasons in 2 weeks, and since as of writing there's no 4th season currently announced, I basically continued the story with the manga. Keep in mind, I don't normally read the mangas for even animes I like, but I made an exception here because I was that invested. I got caught up not too long after and am currently reading it weekly and even checking out some of the spin-off mangas. I hear the anime, in terms of what was adapted already, is actually super faithful to the manga, which is an extra plus. As mentioned before, this was adapted from a manga written by Osamu Nishi. It follows the titular Iruma Suzuki, a frickin' pure boy whose crappy parents sold him off to become a demon. Said demon, Lord Sullivan, is actually the headmaster of the demon world school, Babylos. Now living in the netherworld, Iruma is spoiled by Sullivan in the most pure ways ever.
Looky here, I splurged to celebrate you starting your new school.
This is all for me?
Complete with the fancy big rich house and their butler, Opera. Already, their bond is cute. Sullivan basically acts as his grandpa throughout it, and their bond perfectly sets the tone for this show. It's a show about demons, but it's actually the most wholesome show out there. Iruma himself is also pure as hell and quite different from how I've seen a lot of protagonists in these types of settings, and really shown it in general. In a lot of them, they're usually portrayed as super overconfident, excited to go on this journey, and this works in their detriment. Your Ash Ketchums, your Narutos, etc. Heck, in the supernatural school setting, Akko Kagari perfectly fits the bill on that. There's also Deku of My Hero Academia, who is also very pure boy, but even still he's very, I want superpowers and I want to be a hero. Iruma, though, he doesn't really want that. See, Sullivan tells him that demons will eat him if they find out he's a human, and this freaks him out. So when he gets to the school, his main goal is to not stand out.
Don't stand out. Don't stand out.
It doesn't help that their school song literally goes like this.
Humans, they are loved, for after all, they taste so very good.
This is super deconstructive while making sense in universe because, you know, he's trying to survive. This leads into the next bit of subversion, how Iruma is treated by his peers. Going back to some of my examples, the average protagonist in this genre or setting tends to have to get beaten with the cold reality of wherever they are for the first couple episodes or even the first dozen. Again, Ash Ketchum and Akko Kagari are perfect examples of this, basically being clumsy and stupid for the first part of it, which leads to ridicule by their rivals. Here though, Iruma says this,
Abaru hauke. Taru todari, iusabebe. Risuturu, abaruze, sutomanu, haberugi. Kuru. Horaba. Suresaza.
which are dangerous words in the Netherworld, and well, he's immediately praised, and he's basically seen as super awesome and amazing by the whole school. Now, one may think this would mean he's a Gary Stu who doesn't have to face any sort of conflict or struggle whatsoever, but that's not the case. This works here because his goal was not to be noticed, and now he's famous, which he sees as making him a prime target if they ever find out he's human. It's again a brilliant subversion of this genre. Also, he does face conflict from others as the series goes on. This is now a good time to introduce some of his friends, as the first one comes on screen here.
You may call me Asmodeus Alice.
This is Asmodeus, the rich, privileged, powerful student of the school. In most shows, he would be your stuck-up Draco Malfoy type, and he does it first, immediately challenging Iruma to a fight when he does get some attention. However, through Iruma's sick dodging skills, he is defeated and is now in debt to Iruma. As his devotion to him is honestly so pure and heartwarming to see. I'm gonna be breaking episode order here for a bit so I can round out our main friend trio. But this here...
When you see a big pile of stuff in front of you, don't you just want to go, kabam? Oh, I'm gonna do it again, just watch me!
is the best character in the show. Clara is your super happy hyper girl, but she's got some interesting depth to her. She acts more childish than the rest of the cast, always wanting Iruma and Az to play with her. You'll learn her reasoning for this within the episode by these dickheads who only want to play with her because she can bring them drinks through her powers of literally pulling stuff out of her pocket dimension of a bag to bring them anything she's previously seen. This causes her to break down like this.
This always happens. Everyone gets sick of me and never wants to play again.
Now, I tend to love happy-go-lucky gremlin types on principle, but this element here made her relatable to me, and thus always a joy when she was on screen. The whole trio is just a joy to watch. Their dynamic is basically Az and Clara being friendly rivals on who's a better friend to this muffin, and you just love to see it. But back to episode 2, after establishing the school, we start learning about the teachers. This is Caligo, your Professor Snape of the school, always grumpy and having a grudge against the main character. He introduces the concept of familiars, basically animal companions, like Thistle and Vulpix.
Oh, wow!
And they gotta use what's essentially a demon summoning ritual to summon their familiars. And because Iruma is a human doing this, well...
So this is my familiar?
This clip is a meme in and of itself. Yes, Caligo is Iruma's familiar now, and his animal form looks like this. So baby. But back to the other characters. Caligo here is the teacher of our main trio's class, the Misfit class, or Abnormal class. A class meant for the troubled kids of the school, to which Sullivan set up for Iruma to both share a class with his friends and be in a class where he won't stand out. But we get quite literally a colorful group of misfits, including Jazz, the kleptomaniac, Lee, the epic gamer, Elizabeth, the pretty girl, Carolee, the shy girl and the best character in the class beyond the leads, more on her later, Kames, the fucking owl simp, Aragus, the sleepy boy, Alistair, the lion boy with the best expressions, Gap, the happy boy with this awesome head, Soy person who won't be important for a while, and Sabro, who looks like a Dragon Ball character and has such big brother energy. I love this group. I personally feel like they start to get more well established in season 2, but for now, they all got their own fun gimmicks. The last guy is who gets focused first. At first glance, he comes off as someone who'd be the jerk job. Big, strong, sees Iruma as a rival, and has a long-term goal of becoming the Demon King. However, through the first real multi-part event, you learn he has a rather respectable personality and sees Iruma as more of a friendly rival. Oh yeah, the first event is a flying race to determine where the students rank. Basically, the hierarchy status in the school. And Iruma, despite getting last place, can't even be properly ranked because again, not a demon. Instead though, he gets this ring with Sullivan's powers, which does keep the facade up better. He does start off at the bottom of the food chain, which does mean he does have to work up to the higher ranks. Hierarchies give the perfect segue into talking about the student council and a character who's quite the fan favorite, Omori. Omori is the strict, stern student council president, daughter of a man with higher power, well organized.
My name's Rin Hoshino. I'm 16 and I'm currently running late for school.
And a fucking lead. So Omori has what she refers to as forbidden texts from the human world, which are really just a series of rom-com mangas called First Love Memories. Sadly, she can't read them, but our boy Iruma can. Naturally, due to her background of her dad being in charge of the border patrol between the netherworld and the human world, she does start to catch on that Iruma may be human, but she doesn't care, cause she can get fully hyperfixated on these cheesy rom-coms. She also sort of shows as another means of something Iruma can work towards. They have a lot of discussions on goals and ambitions, which ends up motivating Iruma to keep reaching higher ranks. But before that, we get to one of my favorite episodes. After Az and Clara start following Iruma after he's been busy reading bedtime stories to Amari, they catch him talking to her, to which Clara thinks,
Lady Red Hair is gonna steal Iruma gets away! What do I do?
So Clara thinks she needs to win Iruma back by getting him to fall for her, so she responds by taking
the succubus expert's essential course in seduction.
Hey, it's a demon world. Of course this would be a thing. Also, the succubus teacher moves to that one sound effect you see in every viral YouTube video.
The first day of class.
Now, despite the main subject matter of this episode being succubi, this episode is great. We get this hilarious running gag of Kame trying to break in, only to be promptly shown the door, a bunch of hilarious failed attempts of Clara trying to win over Iruma.
Oh, hold on!
There's a face that could kill.
You know, with the right lighting.
Bro really just went, hear me out. But we get introduced to Clara's family, all essentially different versions of her, all voiced by her VA in both English and Japanese, and they sing a banger of a song.
Smooch, 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 who's number one when it comes to being cutest? Kiss, kiss, run with me. Smooch, 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 who's number one? You got an ace in the hole.
Now, I've gotten way more into anime within the last few years, but I don't typically see songs in episodes like This Is Phineas and Ferb unless it's in the music or idol genre. I'm sure there are exceptions to this, but I feel it's a lot more rare, especially within these types of animes. We also get the super cute moment between Iruma and Clara where
A girl shouldn't be out here by herself. A girl shouldn't be out here. A girl.
What? A girl? You called me a girl before. You think I'm a girl?
Yeah?
funny out of context, but this does make her happy. I suppose I should bring up that there is a bit of a harem element in the show. Iruma is quite the chat over here, and so many demons have wooed over him. This includes Az because, let's face it, he totally has the hots for him. And yeah, there are some light romance elements in this series, but it's never the main focus, so it's easy to ignore if you're not into that stuff. So after that, we get the next set of episodes, Execution Cannonball, a dodgeball-like game with the misfit class that can make a student rank up. Iruma, however, is good at the dodge, but not the throwing, so it's time for Opera to finally shine, my favorite non-binary butler. Yes, in the show, Opera goes by they/them pronouns. It's up to debate on what their gender is, but I personally like to go with non-binary because it feels the most logical here. We learn that Opera is quite the whiz at the throw, and after some training, Iruma steps up and wins the game. Against Az, which is so cool that you'd put them against each other, but hey, gotta build the conflict. And yeah, Iruma ranks up. From reading up to the point where the manga is, Iruma ranking up is sort of the equivalent of Ash winning a gym badge in Pokemon, a sort of milestone that gives the viewer a sense of progress and something the character can work towards.
This ball just hit a girl!
Yeah, but he caught it, so she's safe. Here, I'd love to get to know you better.
This is how I imagine simps are playing Smash Bros with their favorite VTuber. Now we're starting to introduce more teachers, so let me go over them now since I did gloss over a couple. Susie, a botany teacher and my personal favorite. This moment sums her up.
Precisely. Good job. Yes. Could you save your fighting until after class?
Rain, a succubus. I went over her pretty well in her episode. Momonoki, the magic teacher and local Caligo simp. Yes, really. Dantalian. I don't really have much to say about him. And Robin, the familiar professor who's the new teacher and doesn't realize Caligo's a familiar now. Chica! No, little Chico, that's not a human form Chikorita. Chica! But yes, after some funny familiar antics, we get introduced to the main plot of the season, the Battler Party. So to start, let's have Iruma sum up battlers.
I get it. They're clubs, right?
A club?
The Chubs.
God, I love that line. But yes, a good chunk of the episodes mid-season focus on Iruma and his friends fighting a battler and then getting prepared for the upcoming Battler Party, the school's equivalent to a club festival complete with prizes. And this school's got some pretty cool battlers.
Yeah, the game battler. It's great for learning new strategies.
You just want to play games.
I want to learn some new spells.
And you just want money.
I want to join the Ladies Studies Battler.
That doesn't even exist.
Because Iruma is the school's precious lamb, the student council instantly wants him because if it wasn't obvious, Amari may be developing feelings for him. Amari Azazel, more like Amari is a simp. Yes, that one was bad. But before he could do that, he runs into this dude with glasses who has a bad habit of coughing up blood and blowing stuff up. This is Krio and his wonderful Cheerios, the guy who runs the magical apparatus battler. Him and Iruma immediately hit it off, so Iruma and his merry band of friends join the battler despite the club not being in the best shape. Oh, and Sullivan's being questioned by the demon feds. Wait, what? Now at first, I wasn't too into the battler subplot. Krio wasn't interesting to me at first, and IDK, club plots just don't really fascinate me too much. I was, however, pretty invested in the Sullivan subplot. He's getting questioned due to his suspicions that he may have crossed into the human world, which we know is true given how he has Iruma, but someone somewhere may have snitched. Now, these two subplots connect in two interesting ways. One we'll get to in a second, and two is that this battler party also serves as a parents' night. And this is where I want to go into detail on just how awful Iruma's birth parents are.
Tsukima, Tsukima, Tsukima!
So the main trait of Iruma as a character is established in the first episode.
I've never said no!
Indeed, Iruma Suzuki is a complete and total pushover.
So his parents use this to their advantage to basically dump hard and difficult tasks on him, make him work jobs at such a young age, and of course, they sell his soul to a demon all for a little extra cash. All of this to show that Iruma deserves all the happiness he can get. And if it's the fucking demon world that's giving him a better life, well, that just says more about his parents than anything else. But basically, Iruma's parents belong in S tier on the shittiest anime parents tier list. So this leads to even more tension because she wants Sullivan to break out and see his little grandson show off his club for the both of them. And as for the other way, well, we get some cute fluff as Krio grows closer to the main trio, specifically Iruma, but that's mostly to gut punch you that he's a snake.
I was just doing some work with the other members.
Shut up! Us two are gonna destroy the demon school Babylist together.
This is Ball. He's the big bad of the series, at least the one we know of so far. He was Kirio's senior, and he saw him as somewhat of an older brother figure. Krio here is sort of not taken seriously by his fellow third years due to his rank being so low, and because of good old childhood trauma. But yeah, they sort of don't like the ranking system and want to get rid of it and devolve the Netherworld into a more primitive, anarchy-like state. And their first plan in this is to blow up the school.
Say what?
Yeah, that's their first big bad move here. Flat out terrorism out the gate. Also, Ball may have been responsible for Sullivan's arrest. Knowing this plan makes a lot of Kirio's scenes with the trio feel extra bittersweet. Like this entire sleepover they had. They're having these cute club moments and are even planning a fireworks show, something unheard of in the Netherworld, but you all know that both that and the fireworks are part of his plan. All this tension does lead to Kirio's first part of the scheme, covering the school with inescapable barriers. And while Iruma is currently on his way to fight Krio, we get to focus on many of the side characters, and this is the perfect segue into talking about them.
Suki! Ma?
Welcome to Demon School has got to have some of the most amazing set of side and background characters I've ever seen. Just looking at any crowd shot alone shows this. It really takes advantage of being set in a world full of demon monsters by having the demons take on many different forms. We got monsters, dragons, owls, whatever Gap's head is, a lion head, and other various creatures that really give this world some life. Now, I've gone over the Misfit class, who all have their own funny moments, but let's talk about the rest. The broadcast battlers are mainly running this operation, treating this whole disaster like a game in a time of crisis, which is honestly a common way to ease the tension of a bad tragedy. It's sweet, really. They're all pretty fun characters. Then we got this set of girls who we might as well just call the Az fan club. Most of their personalities are basically boys. A lot of their scenes involve fawning over a guy, usually Az or Iruma. Now the other three aren't too interesting, but I'd like to highlight this girl, Desanko. She's portrayed as the female flirt of the school, which is extra funny juxtaposed with this design that looks like Mike Wazowski and Celia gave birth to a bowling pin. She's pretty funny on her own too.
Desanko! Go-Sanko was here.
Also, for a tense moment, they sprinkle in a lot of funny jokes. Enjoy the student council running into an invisible wall.
Seems there are invisible barriers all around the school.
The student council are also pretty fun. They work off Omri's antics really well, especially with their running gag of thinking a date is just special training or something. But now we get into the most top-tier side character.
Gosh, I wonder if Iruma's okay.
This is Eiko, and she is the best girl failure. I held off talking about her until now since this arc has her best character moment of the season. She first appears right in the first episode where Iruma saves her during his fight with Az. This leads to an amazing running gag where Eiko, now in love with him, is trying to get his attention, but fails every time. Now, stalker fan-type characters for me tend to have this habit of being one of the worst characters in a show, if y'all remember my run-in with the Otakings. However, Eiko just works. First off, she never gets to creepy levels at all, and comes off as less of a stalker and more of an admirer. Plus, she always fails, so it's not like she can even get far. She ends up having the best Tsukimas too, which now gives me an opportunity to explain that. Tsukimas are these tiny little skits that happen after the credits of each episode, done in this chibi style, and are usually just extra jokes related to a scene in the episode. Eiko here is home to my personal favorites.
Oh, Iruma, maybe one day.
I can take your trash.
Why, thank you.
Pay more attention to your surroundings, Eiko.
Oh yeah, the narrator totally ships Iruma x Eiko BTW.
You can do it, Eiko.
The main reason I wanted to bring up Eiko here is after the students are gathered in the courtyard here, disaster strikes and Eiko's Quesos is about to die again. And then... now she's got 2 crushes, and yes, I can confirm this with the Tsukima for this episode.
What do I do? This is crazy. I've never been in a situation like this before.
Eiko's Quesos is a bisexual queen. Oh, and she also has a dragon friend that's cool too. Wait, I was talking about a terrorist plot, right? So yeah, during all this, Iruma, thanks to Clara, located Kirio's location, and now he confronts him. We are now at the point where I start to get more intrigued in Krio as a character. At first, he was fine, but nothing special. Here, he becomes a genuinely creepy villain. I don't mean Otakings type creepy, I mean gives you the chills creepy. Creepy smile, his unchanging tone, and his backstory add up to this chilling display. He literally watched his childhood friend cry from losing something that he failed to save, and he got some sick joy out of it. He's the definition of love to hate with how sick and twisted he is.
Back then, when I saw that totally crushed expression, it got me unbelievably excited!
There is also this running theme where he believes that he and Iruma are exactly alike. And yes, on the surface level, they both come off as soft boys who had a rough childhood. But the difference lies in what they made out of it. Iruma managed to get a positive result and ended up finding a much better life, while Krio ended up falling under a bunch of negative influences, specifically ball feeding him his own twisted version of the netherworld. They're similar, but also different.
Despair is a waste of time. Nothing good comes of it.
This is shown in how Iruma goes about the situation. He refuses to show any despair despite Kirio's demands, takes an already set off firework, and then uses it to get the ring out of the barrier. All this adds up to a wonderful fireworks display, which Iruma is once again praised for. It's such a satisfying climax, made even more so by Sullivan breaking out of the interrogation just in time. This alone would be a fantastic season finale if there weren't 5 episodes left of the season. So the rest of the arc is kind of a cooldown time. Sullivan and Opera visit, and Opera is OP at carnival games. We get to see some of the other family members, including Az's interesting mother.
Sheesh, it was so mean of you to leave me behind, Alice. I had to drop all my work to rush here.
We also get another Clara family song. God, those outfits are sick. And we learn at the award show that the broadcast battlers won the big award. Deserved, to be honest.
Through every unforeseen situation, they kept broadcasting with level heads.
Definitely deserved. But apparently, due to the apparatus battlers' heroism, they won a new award that still allowed them to rank up. You gotta feel so happy for these babies. Now, this character was already shown off during Sullivan's interrogation, but now we must talk about Omri's dad, Henry. He is the strict father who knows a lot about the human world. After finding out he takes any moment her daughter describes with Iruma as romantic,
Sometimes we have tea in the audience room when school gets out.
See?
we learn the real reason for this segment.
But I've actually encountered a human being in my distant past. That's why I took that human in and made sure they were returned safe and sound to their own world. If you're seeking help, please don't hesitate to—
Hey, father!
He clearly is at least suspicious of Iruma being a human and is asking if he wants to go back. But honestly, at this point, why would he? His parents only saw him as a way to increase their bank account. Yeah, there's Krio, but from Iruma's perspective, he's sent away. This just feels like Iruma getting a found family. It's such an interesting progression. He went from wanting to hide from the demons to just calmly chilling with them. And I reiterate, going off of what we know about his previous life, why the hell would he go back? He has 2 loving parental-like figures who actually give a shit about him and take care of him, a lifetime supply of food provided to him every day, good clothes and shelter, a great school he goes to where he's pretty much beloved by all his peers, and 2 super close best friends giving him a much-needed social life and who will do almost anything for him. Yeah, he'll be here a while.
And we all are Tsukima.
But now we get into the last major plot point of the season. I'm saving the best for last, and not only because these 2 episodes happen near the end of the season. It's time to talk about my second favorite character in the show behind Clara, Kuru.
I want to thank you for always supporting me. I'm so deeply moved, Evie.
The big idol of the Netherworld, or Demdoll, or Evie Doll in the manga. She's pretty much self-explanatory, a cutesy idol who sings and performs and all the guys are into her. But you might be wondering, why the hell would you like this just introduced character? And that's a rhetorical question because I'm about to tell you she's actually Carolee!
I got too loose during the morning show. I'm definitely most comfortable when I look like this.
This is obviously a big twist, but shy character is more than they seem is a common trope. It's what they do with it. For this moment here, I'd like to point you all to a trope you may hear in these types of reviews, Chekhov's gun. It's a term used to describe when something that appears to be not important, usually an object, becomes crucial later on in the plot. While its traditional usage refers to terms like, well, a gun, I'm using it to show off this show's clever foreshadowing. Carolee here is jealous that Iruma has been hogging all the attention in the news. Several times throughout the season, Iruma did something amazing that made the top of the headlines, and if you go back to several of these, you'll see that he overshadowed what was clearly Kurumu news. And whatever he's being praised for, Carolee is shown in the background for a second clenching her fist. This is pretty easy to miss upon first viewing, but going back, oh, this makes this moment so much more satisfying. We get other tiny hints that she's Kurumu, like this moment.
But you can experience being a superstar Demdoll.
And even here, one may think that she's just reacting that way because she's all ooh shy and it'd be embarrassing. Nope, she is legit just keeping up the disguise. She's actually got quite the interesting character progression, but I'm gonna get into that during season 3. But Carolee's not just doing this cause kawaii desu, she's actually doing it to prove her family wrong.
I never stood a chance against my siblings at home. Since my magic is only average and I'm so awkward, I got work harder. I had to get back at them.
It's super common in family situations to feel inferior to your siblings' successes, especially if they naturally excel in other areas compared to you, or if you just don't get praised as much for your accomplishments compared to them. This also helps explain her angry jealousy at Iruma. It quickly had her rise from just there to I want to analyze the hell out of her. Also, Iruma finds out that she's Carolee in the best way.
Well, see you back at school.
Okay, see ya!
Not so fast, bub!
As you can tell, Carolee becomes a lot more interesting of a character from here on out. So Carolee falls ill and it looks like she can't do the show, so the Iruma friendship trio now has to step up. And they do this by...
Hey, you 2 knuckleheads.
Oh, are you kidding? I can't wear that!
No backstab!
that. Iruma cross-dressing is actually a common theme in the series, but yes, this is Iruma's Demdoll persona, Irumi. And yes, no one around him realizes that that is Iruma, and yet they're still somehow smarter than all of North Petalburg. But eventually, Carolee does get better, and rather than having a jealous fury, we get a duet. You might think the Clara songs are my favorite songs of the season, but this one actually is.
Do I ask you, won't you please just give your soul to me?
My Love Live fan side might be showing, but I just love how upbeat and catchy this sounds. Their voices also just mend so well together. As an aside, Carolee in the English dub is voiced by Xanthi Huynh, sorry if I mispronounced that, who also voices Marianne in Fire Emblem Three Houses, which makes this cutesy side extra funny if you played that game. Also, Carolee's parents did support her after all and finally rewarded her. Such a satisfying ending. Now, the season finale is very simple, which I'm okay with. It starts with them re-establishing every character dynamic in the season thus far, and then it delves more into Az and Clara's rivalry for Iruma's friendship. They have a cook-off to see who can make the best dish for Iruma, and it's just kinda cute seeing how much they do for him. We get another Clara family song.
Nom nom nom, eat it all up. Stomachs and hearts filled up to the brim.
And more look into Az's big mansion. And because Iruma is that much of a muffin, he likes both of their meals combined. It's really such a wholesome show with a wholesome finale. And that's kind of where my thesis lies on it. It's the ultimate comfort show. Its amazing subversion makes this show about demons the most cozy show to watch when you just want to feel good. It does all of this while still having engaging conflicts and a story that can hook you. But this season does leave you with this.
You're so damn loud, you old geezer. Shut it.
And that's a great next season hook. But we'll pick that up another day. I urge you all to check this show out, especially if you're looking for a new comfort show. If this show could get my ADHD ass to read something, then it can do anything. See you next time, and remember to get a meal from the Eiko Queso truck.